What if the biggest winner of the Iran war is not Iran, not Israel, and not even Russia? What if it is Kim Jong Un? That may sound surprising, but look at what has happened in just the past few days. As Donald Trump continues to deal with the fallout from the war with Iran, he has suddenly turned his attention back to North Korea, and, in doing so, has taken an extraordinary step against one of America's oldest allies in Asia. Trump has ordered the Pentagon to substantially reduce joint military exercises with South Korea, and he did not just cite cost. He explicitly connected the decision to his relationship with North Korean leader Kim Jong Un, while accusing South Korea of refusing to help the United States in its war against Iran. That combination is setting off alarm bells in Seoul, because for North Korea, this is exactly the kind of development Kim Jong Un has wanted for years. The U.S. South Korea military alliance has been the backbone of deterrence on the Korean Peninsula for more than 7 decades. The annual Ulchi Freedom Shield exercises are designed to maintain the ability of American and South Korean forces to operate together in a crisis. The U.S. military describes the drills as a way to strengthen the combined defense posture and improve the alliance's ability to respond to a range of threats. But this year's exercise is already being cut short. The drills, which were originally scheduled to run for 11 days, will now end on August 21st, 6 days earlier than planned, following a U.S. request. The scope of the exercise is also being reduced, and the timing could hardly be more significant. Trump made the announcement just as his administration was trying to re-engage Kim Jong Un. On Monday, Trump told reporters that Kim had responded to his request for a conversation. When asked how he knew Kim had not responded, Trump shot back, "How do you know he hasn't responded?" He then said the response was very positive. Trump gave no details about the message or whether the two leaders had spoken directly, but he made one thing clear: he still wants a relationship with Kim. "Kim Jong Un has always treated me with great respect," Trump said. "I understand him. He understands me." That is remarkably similar to the language Trump used during his first presidency, when he met Kim face-to-face and briefly transformed the U.S.-North Korea relationship. But those negotiations collapsed in 2019, and since then, the strategic balance has changed dramatically. North Korea is now stronger. Kim has expanded the country's nuclear and missile capabilities. Pyongyang has also deepened its relationship with Russia. North Korean troops have fought alongside Russian forces in Ukraine, while North Korea has supplied Moscow with military equipment, including artillery and missiles. And that means Kim is approaching any potential new negotiations from a much stronger position than he had in 2018 or 2019. So why is Trump suddenly reducing military exercises with South Korea? Trump's explanation is partly financial. He has repeatedly complained that the United States spends too much money defending allies who, in his view, do not do enough for America in return. But this time, there is another issue: Iran. Trump says South Korea refused to help the United States in its campaign against Iran, and he appears furious about it. At the Oval Office, Trump pointed to the roughly 39,000 U.S. troops stationed in South Korea and questioned why Washington should continue providing security if Seoul would not support America's military operation against Iran. His argument is essentially transactional. America protects South Korea from North Korea. So in Trump's view, South Korea should help America when Washington goes to war elsewhere. Seoul does not see it that way. South Korea has not joined the U.S. military campaign against Iran, and officials have stressed that its alliance with Washington remains strong. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung's office has also said that the military exercises are not intended to attack North Korea or escalate tensions. Their stated purpose is to protect the South Korean population and maintain peace. But Seoul was reportedly caught off guard by Trump's announcement. South Korean Foreign Minister Cho Hyun told lawmakers that neither the South Korean government nor U.S. officials had warned Seoul about Trump's Truth Social post. He said the two countries were still consulting over how the drills would be adjusted. That matters because the drills are not just symbolic. They are part of the operational foundation of the U.S. South Korea alliance, and any reduction in training can raise questions about readiness. There is also a longer-term issue. South Korea has been working toward transferring wartime operational control, known as OPCON, from the U.S. to a South Korean commander. Seoul's foreign minister has warned that the reduced drills should not delay that process. So, for South Korea, Trump's decision creates a difficult balancing act. It wants to preserve its alliance with Washington. It wants to avoid unnecessarily provoking North Korea. But it also cannot afford to look militarily weaker at a moment when Pyongyang's capabilities are growing. And North Korea knows this. For years, Pyongyang has described U.S. South Korea military exercises as rehearsals for an invasion. North Korea routinely demands that the exercises stop. Now, the American president himself is saying they are costly, inappropriate, and unnecessarily hostile. That is a major rhetorical victory for Kim Jong Un. But here's where the story gets even more interesting. Kim has not exactly rushed to embrace Trump. North Korea has traditionally been extremely cautious about negotiations with Washington, and Kim's sister, Kim Yo-jong, has previously made clear that a personal relationship with Trump is not enough to persuade Pyongyang to surrender its nuclear weapons. North Korea now believes it has leverage. It has nuclear weapons. It has a growing partnership with Russia. It has China as another major strategic partner. And it has watched the United States become increasingly stretched across multiple conflicts. That includes the war with Iran. Kim Yo-jong has now rejected the idea that reducing the drills fundamentally changes Washington's hostile policy. She has argued that the exercises remain provocative despite Trump's decision. So Pyongyang is playing its own game. It can welcome the weakening of U.S. South Korean military cooperation without immediately giving Trump what he wants. In other words, Kim can wait. And waiting may actually be his strongest weapon. Victor Cha, a Korea expert at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, has suggested that North Korea may deliberately take its time before responding to Trump's overtures. The logic is simple. For decades, joint exercises were a central symbol of that commitment. Now, because of a dispute over a completely different war, the war with Iran, those exercises are being scaled back. And Kim Jong Un is watching. There is another reason Kim may feel stronger. North Korea has become much more important to Russia. Pyongyang has provided Moscow with troops and weapons for the war in Ukraine. In return, North Korea has strengthened its military relationship with Russia. That means Kim is no longer as isolated as he was during Trump's first term. He has Moscow. He has Beijing. He has nuclear weapons. And now he is once again attracting direct attention from the White House. That does not mean Kim has won the Iran war. There is no evidence that North Korea planned or caused the crisis. But strategically, the Iran war may have created an opportunity for Pyongyang. And that distinction is crucial. The question is not whether Kim defeated America in Iran. The question is whether America's war with Iran has weakened the political and military foundations of its alliance system in Asia. If Washington begins reducing commitments because allies refuse to participate in U.S. wars, other governments will start asking a dangerous question. Will America's security guarantees remain unconditional when the next crisis comes? That question is already being debated in Seoul, and it will not stop there. Japan and other U.S. partners across Asia will also be watching. Because alliances depend not only on military hardware, they depend on confidence. If allies believe Washington can suddenly change its commitments based on whether they support a particular American war, then the entire alliance system becomes more transactional. And that could be exactly what Kim Jong Un wants. He has spent years trying to split the United States from South Korea. He has demanded the removal of American troops. He has condemned joint military exercises. He has argued that Washington's alliances are tools of confrontation. Now, without firing a shot, some of those arguments are appearing inside America's own political debate. But there is still a long way to go. The U.S. has not abandoned South Korea. American troops remain there. The alliance remains intact. The exercises have not been canceled altogether. They have been reduced, and Washington is still committed to deterring North Korea. Most importantly, Kim has not accepted Trump's offer for a new summit, at least not publicly, and that may be deliberate. Kim has learned from the previous negotiations that Trump wants a dramatic diplomatic breakthrough, so Pyongyang may decide to demand much more in return. Perhaps sanctions relief, perhaps recognition of North Korea's nuclear status, perhaps changes to U.S. troop deployments, perhaps an end to major military exercises altogether. That would put Trump in a difficult position, because if he wants a deal with Kim, he may have to give Pyongyang concessions that previous U.S. administrations rejected. So is Kim Jong Un the real winner of the Iran war? Not yet, but he may be one of its biggest strategic beneficiaries. The war has exposed tensions between Washington and a major Asian ally, but its consequences may already be reaching Pyongyang. And if Kim Jong Un can turn America's Middle East crisis into greater leverage over Washington and weaker confidence in the U.S. South Korea alliance, then he may walk away from this war without firing a single missile.